You are listening to WBPG LP 102.9 FM radio. We are located at 670 Washington Street in Dorchester, Massachusetts. Our zip code is 02124. Our phone number is 617-282-0685. 617-282-0685. The views and opinions expressed by the following paid program are those of the program producers, and they do not reflect the views and opinion of Global Ministries Christian Church, its staff, or management.
This is the time when we open up the doors to you and we let them in. When you're up, let 'em in. When you're down, let 'em in. When you're bound, let 'em in. Let 'em in.
What's on the menu? Boston.com, Boston Praise Radio, and TV.com, Facebook, and YouTube. This week's conversation, Barbershops and Beauty Salon Talk. Here are your hosts, Ice Cube and Queen Latifah.
Oh, no, she did it, Jay Jizzy. No, here we go. No, I would have to be the Cube. No, folks, it's good to have you back and listening to what we're going to be doing this week. This week's topic, Jay, is what?
Barbershop, hair salon talk.
Woo, barbershop and hair salon talk. Before we introduce our guest, though, today's a special day, Jay. What's today?
Today is Father's Day.
Today is Daddy's Day.
Trey, before we start, I'd like to say Happy Father's Day, my man.
Thank you, I appreciate
Happy
it.
Father's Day to my daddy as well.
Okay.
But Happy Father's Day to, my man Trey Ocho.
Just because you're a man, you have a kid, that don't mean you're a father, though.
You're right.
I'm not giving that away so easy. And you know what I wanted to say too, Jay? When it's Mother's Day, they got all kind of commercials on TV and all kind of the flower mans out in the neighborhood. I ain't seen nothing for Father's Day.
All we get is like the toolbox commercials.
I don't know how to fix nothing. I can't fix nothing. I'm not one of them men. I can write a proposal, but I can't fix nothing. Goodness gracious. So here we go. We're going to just say hello to our guests. You all say hello. I didn't tell you that at the beginning. I'm going to introduce you all of our guests today. We have a live action-packed group today. Today we have a gentleman by the name of Donnie Palmer. He's a professional boxer, author, and educator. What's up, Donnie?
How you doing, Tracy?
All right, lean into those microphones.
The champ is here. Let's go.
The champ is here. We got one of the original trash talkers on the panel today. You see, if you catch him in the neighborhood, boy, he'll get you and you're in trouble. Run from him, run. His name is Bob Marshall. He's a retired Boston public school teacher.
How you doing?
Okay, that would be you, Bob. That's your name, all right? You got to lean forward. All right. Oh, this guy here, he's just one of the brightest guys I know. He's just a community man, done it all, did it all. He's doing his thing in Boston for everybody, especially in the Roxbury area. Say hello to Mr. Louis Elisa. He's the founder and president of the Garrison Trotter Neighborhood Association.
Good afternoon.
Oh, you hear that voice? He sound like a radio host. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right, next up is my baby. That's right. She decided to switch her senior year to another major. All right, in her senior year, she switches. She goes by the name of Tracy Lithcutt, and she's a student at Spelman College.
You're lucky it's Father's Day.
Yes, I am. This is one of our reoccurring folks that's been good to us, comes back all the time. She's a medical coordinator. She goes by the name of Trevetta Fly Girl Poindexter.
Hello, everybody.
Come on, sis. Come on, Trevetta. You're supposed to be on the mic quicker than that. Next we have, she's about to be a married woman. That's right. It's about to happen in a couple of weeks. I know she is stressed because putting the wedding together is not easy. She worked for the city of Boston. She goes by the name of Mrs. Aisha Johnson, but it will be Aisha Miller very soon. Marrying my brother. Say hello, Aisha.
Hello.
Oh, don't believe that nice voice. She got a whole lot of stuff with her. Don't believe that one, all right? Next we have, that's right, this woman, boy, she's funny. She better be funny on the air today. She's part of our Black Employee Network. We've been doing a lot of good work in the community. Her name is Taisha Jones Horner. She's the Director of Volunteer Programs for Age Strong in the city of Boston. Say hello, Taisha.
What up?
You see it's coming. It's coming. We also have a gentleman. We can hear you all talk back there, y'all, when you all are talking. All right, don't forget we have, and her husband decided to come today too. I don't think he knew what he was doing when he volunteered for the show, Jay. I don't think he knew.
He didn't know.
His name is Chuck Horner. He's a carpenter with NEI Construction.
How you doing?
All right, Chuck. All right. Did you work on that line that you did? Hey, how you doing? I look like we caught you on guard there. I am so happy to have this young lady back. She's been on the show numerous times. Brings us a whole different perspective from all types of. She just fly. I don't know what to say about the woman. She is just fly. I love everything about her. She got a style amongst her own. She goes by the name of Kimberly Lyle. She's a strategic marketing and business analyst.
What's up, people?
There she go. There she go.
AKA the vegan.
There she go. The vegan. I forgot about that. All right. I need a little historical perspective. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Louis Alisa and Bob Marshall initially. What do men actually talk about in barbershops?
Well, I'm not sure since I've been doing my own career for the last 30 years, but when I did hang out in barbershops, they talked about everything that was going on in the community and what was happening in their lives. And for a little while, a little free play, about sisters and, what was going on. But most of the talk was about politics.
What's your take on that, Bob?
Politics and race.
Yeah, that's it. As much trash as you talk, you only got 2 words all of a sudden? 2 words, politics and race.
That encompasses a whole lot of stuff.
Okay. I'm going to go to my my future sister-in-law, and why don't Taisha and Aisha, what do women talk about up in that black salon?
We like to keep it real. We want to know who's sleeping with who. All types of stuff.
And don't bring your man in the what is it, hairdresser?
Why not?
Because he probably got a couple of girlfriends sitting there.
Here we go.
Like a knowing look.
You ever seen someone get busted like that? Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's just go into our topics. I'm going to go to the champ, and we're going to open up the floor. Somebody tell me about one of your crazy family members. Who is your craziest family member?
My sister.
What, you got to tell me why.
Got shot behind her.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, the champ can't work with a shot. No, tell me why she goes so crazy.
No man, she's a crazy person. So she got into it with an ex-boyfriend a couple of years ago. It was on the news, Remember when I got shot straight?
Okay.
At the hospital.
Okay.
It was on the news. Basically, he beat her up, and wasn't no delegating the situation. I asked him what to do. He had something to say, and he didn't say the right stuff. So knocked him out. Came back and shot me up. So I think my crazy sister for dealing with people who's gonna shoot somebody.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Maybe we should say her name and warn the men out there so they don't just all of a sudden run up on her. That's going to be tough. Someone else tell us about a story about a crazy family member.
I gotta say, my sister, Shamia. Oh my God! Talk about crazy. She don't care who you are. She will turn up. She don't care. She's not afraid of nobody. And I think last Mother's Day, her baby's father came over to my mother's house and tried to turn up. I went home. I got the phone call. Shamia's outside.
Oh, Shamia.
Her baby daddy.
Shamia acted up.
I'm telling you, man, she ain't no joke.
Okay. So, you know what? Let's transition a little bit. I'm going to tell a little story about because I want to hear from people what was the most peculiar meal you've ever had.
Well, what's peculiar mean? You're using big words.
Peculiar, I mean strange. Let me tell you, so I like to do things culturally, Jay. So I got invited to an African wedding. All right. So they had all the beautiful colors. It was a parade and all this stuff happening, you know. And then so I'm starving. We came to the wedding starving. We gonna eat everything there. So we all had to get in line. All right, because it was like a buffet and got a big old pot. I said, oh man, that soup looks good. I saw people walking by. I couldn't really get a good look at the soup. When they got close to me, I said, oh, this is going to be good. They put some broth, Jay, in a big bone. One big bone.
Just a bone.
Just a bone. See, I said, put some meat on. It's the bone. You eat the bone. You suck on the bone.
I'd rather have a bone than a cow tongue.
Oh, not this. You suck on the bone.
It was like.
Then you bite the bone. I almost got a cow tongue and a hoof at one of the Haitian things.
Oh man.
You know? Oh my goodness. So give me a story about the most peculiar meal that you've ever had. Speak up, folks.
I had an alligator burger.
Ooh.
No, was it a crocodile? It was a crocodile burger.
How'd it taste?
It tasted like chicken. But it tasted like chicken, but the texture was real thick and it wasn't chicken. And I ended up throwing up because it was just my stomach couldn't handle it.
Ooh, alligator.
I couldn't do it.
Alligator. Anybody else had any peculiar meal?
Tastes like chicken.
You know? Anybody else a peculiar meal? Speak up, folks.
Well,
Come
I
on.
had a chance of having bear meat.
Oh, how was that?
It kind of tastes like pot roast. You know, and I was kind of scared when I ate it, but you know I had to beat the guy up afterwards because he kind of lied to me. Hey, Chuck, want to have a piece of this steak? So I'm like, oh man, steak and it's looking meat and you know marbleized and glazed. Had the onions on the side, and I'm like, yeah, let me get a piece of that, man. Let me taste that. I ate it. He said, you know what? How'd that steak taste? And I said, it tastes real good. Why? It was a nice flavor. He's like, that was bear meat.
Oh man, Chuck, you ate Yogi, Chuck. You ate Yogi the bear. Oh my goodness. Oh, we gonna know. Oh, bear
We're
meat.
going to talk about hoghead cheese and
Oh my
some
God.
chitlins.
You talking deep south?
Pig ears.
Oh my goodness.
They used to give me them pig ears when I was little. I used to eat them up.
You used to eat them
I
up?
didn't know what they. I mean, they said they were pig ears, but I didn't think it was literal. So I just ate them.
Oh my
With a little bit of vinegar and hot sauce.
Oh my goodness.
And when your mother sent you to the store, Brown's Market, down in Orchard Park, to get hoghead cheese, you think it was literal?
You telling your age.
There used to be some nasty.
I'm 43 years old. I ain't got no shame in my game.
There used to be some nasty stuff in the stores too, like a pickle in a jar. Oh my goodness.
Those are bomb, Tracy. Don't say that.
We're basically expressing our
Those are good.
lack of diversity and understanding that, you know, what we now find peculiar, but used to be staple.
Right.
And so everybody's sitting up and putting their nose up at things, but I can tell you there's a time, matter of fact, if you go back to the stock market crash, they were selling rats in the street in New York City.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
And no, you say, but you know, y'all had possum and skunk and raccoon and the squirrels and all that
There's
stuff.
something about a rat, Lewis.
Certain parts of this country, they're still killing, you know, wild animals. We can now act sophisticated, but there's a time when we ate all of that stuff.
Well, let me just say this, Lewis.
In parts of Africa, they still eat very diverse things, and in parts of Korea and places like that, they eat dogs.
Well,
so if you go into the market in California and parts of Texas, you'll find, you know, raccoons and other stuff.
Oh my goodness!
Well, Chinese, remember, different cultures eat different things.
Yes, and that's what I talked about with peculiar meals. And like I said, I don't have to go kill an animal to give you some bone soup.
With no hesitation.
Go ahead. What you said, Kimberly?
I said I would eat. I said I wouldn't mess with the rat, and he said you would if you had to. And I was like, with no hesitation, yeah, I would eat the rat if I was hungry.
It's a matter of where we are now.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but when you get down to it, you say, I won't eat that.
Okay.
Revisit that again.
Let me ask folks at the whole panel, because I wish I would have. This is one of the inventions I would have come up with back in the day. The greatest invention in the world is hair weave.
Yeah.
The weave. All right,
called
folks.
bundles, by the way.
It's called what?
Let them know.
Bundles.
It's 2019. We call them bundles now.
It's big these days.
Yeah, they're doing the
There are
most.
grown men putting big facial hair that they buy.
Facial hair?
Oh yes.
I'm not hating on men.
Yeah.
And on their arms with these bald spots. Yeah.
One at a time, folks.
I got Casey's in Atlanta, so she's
Yeah. And I can't tell if it's fake weave. I have to ask Gail, is that fake? fake? Is that real?
How do we know? How do you know if it's fake? I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
It's not fake. It's real hair, depending on the price.
You know, one thing that I noticed, I was watching a woman on TV. There was apparent she had weave, and I had to ask her, I said, how did she get it down to the scalp? It looked like it was.
Oh, okay. I can explain that to you. Okay, so there's different things when putting hair on top of your head, right? Yeah. So I get bundles, right? And bundles is when the hairdresser will braid your hair. They'll braid your hair, right? And then they sew the bundles into those braids. Sometimes you get a cap on top of your head.
A cap that looks like a scalp.
Like a net. Like a net.
Okay.
Then we have other things like frontals, where you actual wigs, where you actually a process where you put a cap on your head. Your hair is braided under, and then
you're the weave expert, ain't you? Goodness gracious.
And then you put glue on top of the cap. And then you put the wig on top of it. You got to blow dry a little bit. Wig. Yeah, sometimes you have to do it like every 2 days. Some do it every week.
Well, let me go back. Go ahead.
So you paying a lot of money, Tracy? Huh?
She talking about I need to eat. That money's going to a weave. She ain't buying no food.
I'm natural right now.
So it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that somehow encouraged us to believe that hair makes a difference.
I'm telling you.
And so if no matter where you go, you got to look and see what the people in India and different places are giving up in order so that we can have these weaves natural and some, polyester or whatever else goes into it. But it's an industry that we have very little interest in terms of access to and financial.
Well, let me say this to you,
outside our community.
I don't think the black women are not caring about what goes on in India. They want that weave. And they want it. They got that.
Also, there are protective styles. Wearing bundles is also when you have your hair braided under. A lot of girls, instead of straightening their hair, they will braid their hair under. So
let me tell you something they need to bring back, which I don't understand. It just why it didn't stay around. Why don't men have perms anymore? Like James Brown. Perms. Why would they do?
Some of them still do.
You never put lye on your head.
Some of them still do.
So if you ever permed your hair, you'd understand why they keep it around.
Yeah, the S-curl killed my hair.
Ladies, would you all
my whole life?
Would y'all date a man with a perm?
No.
That's a no.
Why not?
Because I don't have a perm, first
That's
of
a
all.
no.
I don't have a perm.
But you got weave.
It's 2000.
Oh, it's all right for the weave, but we can't wear perms?
Well, listen.
My husband said stop lying, so let me tell you, we've been together for 20 years, and he done had some S-curls at one point or another.
Oh, man.
Well, fellas.
That's different. I'm going to give him a pass on the S-curl.
That's real love.
If somebody's coming out here like with a pimp perm, with the drip, come on now.
Well, fellas,
you can just get a hot comb. You can just get a flat iron. You don't need to have the perm.
Well, let me say this, fellas. Fellas, how do we see? They won't take us with the perm. But we gotta go to sleep at night, and they throw them scarves on their head.
Horrible.
Scarves.
Horrible.
Scarves. We won't lose our hair.
It takes hard work to look this good.
Men did it too. Men wore scarves. I mean,
when they had a perm.
Y'all have do-rags. Y'all have do-rags for your waves.
Listen, I respect the woman that puts a scarf on her head at night.
All right, brother.
And the reason why I do is retract that.
You must be in trouble at home for that.
I'm about to say that.
You must be in trouble. He's trying to get off the dog. He's trying to get off the couch, get some dinner tonight, and get back to the bed.
Let me retract that, depending on the day, because if it's my birthday, if it's a special day, I would like to see you beautiful all day.
Right.
Without the scarf.
Until I wake up in the morning. You understand what I'm saying? But then there's, I respect the woman that does her hair like that because she appreciates her hair. She's not gonna wake up wild, I can't do that. And it's easier for you guys, isn't it? You just get up and you just let it out and you just.
Well, let me tell you, ever roll over in the middle of the night, one of them scarves fall off? What is that? What is that?
And I would like to say, sometimes we're not trying to look good for y'all.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe for ourselves.
Okay. Bob, you have something to say? Come into the mic, Bob.
My ex-brother-in-law was dating a young lady who had a Jerry curl, and he had to throw out all the pillows.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my God.
So I just want to let's transition a little bit in the pet peeves. What is your pet peeve? I know that I think my grandparents maybe instilled this in me. I hate wasting food. Oh my goodness! But in my household, I love it. Nobody eats leftovers, so it is all mine. I don't care. They come in with something, they leave it. It's mine because they don't want it later. There's nothing worse than going to work. You got 2 chicken wings in that refrigerator, and you just thinking about them 2 wings. You done stashed it behind the milk cartons, everything. Well, she's home now because she eats it. Then you come home and you start looking for them wings, and they gone, and they are no longer in the fridge. Oh my! I tell you, my chicken's so good. Gail's son talking about he don't eat meat. I came on one time and saw him eating my fried wings, busted, hiding in the corner behind the refrigerator, eating fried wings, calling himself a vegan. What is your pet peeve, folks?
You call himself a vegan.
My pet peeve is people in the community who don't park with consideration of other people. They'll take up 2 parking spaces in the community where there's no parking in the neighborhood, or even at the parking lot when they park over the line. They just don't respect each other.
Drive me crazy, Louis. You come home here. That's 3 spots. Couldn't he just move up or move back a little? Sometimes I want to call and act like I'm a private tow company. Could you just come tow that truck out of here? Please take the tag off, and he got no tags. Tow him and drive me crazy.
I know the champ got some pet peeves.
What's yours, champ? Come on, y'all, speak up.
A lot of pet peeves. My pet peeve is probably socialists. I hate socialists.
Oh my goodness, we going deep, aren't we? Louis said I'm a socialist.
That's more than a pet peeve. That's deep.
Come on, folks. Who else? Who has pet peeves? Speak up. Speak up.
I can't stand when men don't put the toilet seat down and when they don't wipe the sink water off the sink. I mean, let's just do that.
Wow, excuse me.
Miss the toilet.
Can I ask a question? Why wouldn't a woman put the seat down?
Well, it's supposed to be down. If you lifted it up, you got.
Why would they lift it back up? Is that something that happens in the women's restroom?
Germs. It's a thing called germs that comes out of the toilet. Like,
oh my goodness,
God.
Yeah, that would drive me crazy too.
Oh my God.
So, question: have a woman ever fell down in the toilet seat or something like that?
No, goodness.
No, but the chances are high.
That's not.
They are, especially in the dark, the middle of the night bathroom breaks.
Sleepwalking you gonna do?
Okay.
Well, I'm from the South, man, and one of my pet peeves is when I'm cooking in the kitchen. I don't like people in my kitchen.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm like my uncles. Boy, get out my kitchen. Boy, get out my kitchen. I'm like, all right, Uncle, I just wanted to get some water. No, get out my kitchen.
I tell you, one of my pet peeves is when my family left me down south for the summer, you mentioned bathrooms. I walked all around the house looking for a bathroom. I was like, where's the bathroom? It's outside. That thing out there is the bathroom? I swear to God, I didn't go to the bathroom for 3 months. I said I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I just prayed on it and held it. For 3, I said, I got to go out there in the middle of the night. I said, there's no way I'm doing this.
My pet peeve is people exaggerate too.
Yeah, because we know daggone well he did not hold for 3 months.
For 3 months. I'm in the Guinness World Book of Records. You got to look it up. So I want to bring up too, since we have so many different flavors on the station today. What was your craziest date? Give me one of the nuts that you may have gone out with, or something that may have happened on a crazy date.
So my husband didn't want me to mention this, but I'm going to.
Oh man, he's really in trouble.
So we went out for New Year's Eve one night to a gala. It was myself and his sister, her husband, and we all went out to have a good time. We was all dressed up, and at the end of the night, we sent the guys to go get the car, and we're standing outside in front of Copley Hotel for about an hour and a half waiting for them. But like, it was freezing. It was like 0 degrees, and we was just like, it's cold. We barely got any clothes on. Where are these guys? Come to find out, my husband was walking past a group of people, white people, and they had yelled out "Happy New Year" N-word, and he ended up losing it. And his camera was broke. Long story short, I had to bail him out of the. Had to bail him out, and I was like, "Wow, this is crazy." He's like, "Honey, I'm sorry. There was no way that we was going to be able to tell you that we was locked up." That was a crazy date.
Was that your first date or?
Couple in.
Okay.
That was a couple.
Okay.
You were
You might, because if it was the first one, you'd be like, he really don't like me. He just said, come back.
That was with his sister, so I knew I was
Okay. Anybody else got a date story? Anyone else? No one. I'd like to hear my daughter speak up, but she don't want to say that. No, anybody? Okay. We're gonna transition. We're gonna take some questions from around the country. Jay, what do we have?
Yeah, as you can see, I'm over here writing all these questions, man. There's so much questions coming in right now. So we have Miss Tanisha from Philly, and she wants to know. This is an open forum to anybody on the panel. Who was your worst teacher and why?
Mr. Belezos.
Dearborn
Middle School.
What's his name? I didn't hear you.
Mr. Belezos. 1980s.
Call him out.
He knew I was a hungry little kid. I didn't have a lot of food. So he had a plant in his classroom.
He told you to eat it?
He told me to come in the classroom and get a bite of the plant.
Oh my
So I took a piece
God.
of the plant, and it was garlic or something. It was terrible. And I was sick for the whole day. And he sat there and laughed. But I had a good teacher, Mrs. Brown, Dearborn Middle School. And she came in and she tore him a new one.
Oh my
Mr.
goodness.
Belezos, I'll never forget that.
I'd have never ate garlic to this day. You make me afraid of garlic now.
It was so strong, I thought I was going to die.
Bob, you in the school system. Talk to us. What was the worst teacher you ever had? Come into the mic, Bob.
Through my 12 years of schooling, kindergarten to the 12th grade, I had some really good teachers. Just about every teacher I had were good at what they did, and I can't think of anybody really bad.
Okay.
Now, I ran into some when I first started teaching school in Boston.
Oh no! Here we go.
I ran into some folks who I had to really contain myself because I wanted to do something to them.
Something bad, Bob, or something good?
Well, I went into the teacher's room when I first started teaching. This is just right at the beginning of busing. And there were two teachers in the room, and they were discussing a student. And they said, yeah, well, the little Nigger. Okay. So I when I came in right during the end of the conversation. So they looked at me, and they said, oh, well, we weren't talking about you. We were talking about one of the students. So I said to them, well, if I wasn't here,
that is talking about you.
You be talking about me. So let me just say to you, next time I hear this, you and I are going outside.
All right, Bob, you holding it down. Anybody else with a story? Anybody?
Mr. Fitter in my high school, he expelled me from class. Well, he expelled me from class and wound me getting suspended from school because I couldn't agree with him that communism was bad and capitalism was good. So he, as a social studies teacher, was committed to the idea that capitalism was the answer to everything. And I just told him, having read past the first 3 pages of the book, that there's nothing wrong with communism if you live in that country.
That's right.
It's when you get on this side that we start talking about how things don't work.
That's right.
So I would thought he was a bad teacher because he always had an attitude, and this was back during the Vietnam War thing. So I couldn't figure out why we were killing people because of their beliefs.
Okay. Oh, Jay, I got to bring up one. She's a good teacher, but she stunk, Jay. Oh God, she just goodness. And she was a good teacher. Did she want to call you up to the front of the classroom? The whole area was funky around her. It was just horrible. And then she wanted to hug you. Yeah. You want to hold you in close and tight. I'm like, oh, let me go. I'm not going to mention her name because she's probably still around. And she'll catch me and I don't want any more. But it was nasty, Jay.
I had one bad teacher.
One?
Yeah. I ain't going to say his name. No, bump that.
I'll say his name.
Okay. His name is Mr. Lindor. Mr. Lindor had the worst breath ever, and he wanted to come over and lean on you and tell you, hey, do you need some help? I'm like, yo, you need a breath mint. So we have a next question. This actually is going to Miss Kimberly Lyles, and she says, what personality trait, and this is from Pascal, from Rhode Island. Shout out to Pascal, Rhode Island in the house. What personality trait has gotten you in the most trouble?
I would say I have a very bad temper. And so that has gotten me into a lot of trouble.
Really mild
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It's starting to flow out, seep out, very slow.
Anybody else?
It's kind of cliche, but I'm the college girl that like not falls in love, but is attracted to bad boys.
Oh yes! Oh goodness gracious!
Run, girl, run! Don't do it.
But it's above me now, so
I hope so.
It's above me now.
Good answer.
I don't know, cause some of them when they come to the house, I'm throwing right up against the wall. Get up against the wall. Let me patch it down. Goodness gracious!
Gives them the mean grin, everything.
Jay.
All right, we have Miss Renee. Shout out to Renee from California. And she says, if you had to pick a new name for yourself, what name would you pick? I like that.
Oh, Peaches.
She loved that Peaches.
Why Peaches?
I don't know. I never had a nickname, so I gave myself one.
Remember, folks, stay into the microphone, folks.
I would switch my middle name. No offense, Daddy. But my middle name is Pearl, and I've been called that since like I was a little girl, so I would change it to just Pearl.
That's my nana's name. That's why I gave her that name. I love that woman. Like you can't. That's an old name too. Pearl's an old name. They don't use that name anymore.
They don't. Like Margaret. You never hear nobody's name.
Margaret, Pauline, Florine. Those are my family members. Those are all old names that you don't really hear as much anymore.
What happened to Keisha? You never see no babies named Keisha.
Yeah,
Keisha's a grown woman. That's
no more Shaniquas.
Yeah.
No more Shaniquas.
I would take away my first name. I would take away Taisha and just use my middle name Kahi.
Oh, that's nice.
Those are both nice. I like both of them though.
Yeah, my father, he named me that back in the Black Power days.
Okay.
So the middle name is Lovable.
Okay.
I don't know what the first name means.
Okay.
That's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Changed my first name to Malik.
Oh, you going Afrocentric and a Black Power ball. Come here,
It's funny because when I started teaching school, I had switched from the Curly to Madison Park, and I was very outspoken at the time. So a good friend of mine, Dennis Wilson, he's called me Bob X.
Malik. I like that name though. I like that name. And you know what? If I could change my name, it's a name that I always loved, Chaz. I love that name. You can call me Chiz. Just call me Chiz. I love that name. My name's Chiz. Call me Chiz. I love that name. I don't know why. I just love it. I love it. Ain't worse than Peaches. It ain't worse than Peaches. Goodness.
That's way worse than Peaches.
Yo, we got another question. We got my man Alan from NYC. Which would be harder? This is open to anybody on the panel. Which would be harder for you to give up? Coffee or alcohol?
Coffee.
Good one.
Coffee.
God.
Talk to us, folks. Talk to us.
Is there a third option? Or it's just those two?
I can live without alcohol. I need my coffee though. I definitely need my coffee.
You can take a shot. That will take care of the coffee business.
Shot of alcohol. Shot of alcohol in the coffee.
Alcohol coffee. So you
All right. One more, Jay.
Okay, cool. We got Kyle from the DC area. What is the best advice you've ever received? Anybody?
Oh, if you can get through January and February, you can march right on. I say that every single day.
That's a good one.
The best advice I've ever received from my mother and friends was to trust God.
Yeah. I had something like that from the pastor of this church, Reverend Wall. I was getting really burnt out and tired of doing this type of work. He said something to me that kind of scared me, but kind of kept me focused. He said, God chose you for this work. And when he said that, I was like, don't put that pressure on me.
Right.
I don't want it. But I'm glad that I stayed in the field. As much trash as I talk about it, I do. The best feeling I get is helping people. I love to help people, which is going to go into our next topic. People, what are you most sensitive about? Now, for me, it would be the lips, okay? Do not take no big lip jokes. I done heard them all, and I come right back at you with something. Right. But what are you most sensitive about? Come on now. Look, y'all are really sensitive, ain't you? No one wants to say nothing.
My little brother.
I think my kids.
Yeah. My little brother.
My parents and my kids, my children.
Okay.
Race.
You got to come up with. It's not long distance mic.
Anything that deals with race. Anytime that they start to use race and start talking about qualifications, especially based on the situation that exists in this country now, I know how broke it is. I mean, we spend all our life people talking about qualified, and they use race as the issue. Now we know it doesn't really matter at all. It's just race.
Sure. Good point. Good point. Anyone else?
What you sensitive about, Champ?
My beliefs.
Your beliefs?
Yeah, you know that my beliefs, bro. You know me, man. I rep the city council, so my beliefs are really sensitive about it.
Okay.
You ran for what?
City council here in Boston.
All right, let's shift. Give me your biggest regret. What is your largest regret that you've had in life?
Not running for city council this past term.
Okay. Okay. Folks?
Dropping out of Northeastern.
Okay. Anybody else?
I don't live life with regrets. I don't think I have any regrets in my life.
Okay. Okay.
About experience.
I don't think I do either, and I've done some crazy stuff, but I don't regret anything.
Okay.
Not even a little bit.
If I had to talk about regrets, we'd be here for about 7 hours, so I'm just going to leave my own alone. Anybody else, your biggest regret? No, we're going to move on. Other than your family, and other than family members, who would you consider your hero?
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X, why, Lewis?
Because he laid it out clear what we as black people need to do in America, and everything he said 40 years ago is relevant today. He said you never take the case of the fox to the wolf. He says it's the ballot or the bullet.
I like that. Anybody else? Who is your hero?
Number 44.
I'm 44.
Okay, I know where you're going. Talk about it.
Man, he just to have the balls to do it, and just to do it. You know what I mean?
Only reason why I know 44 was I knew who 45 is, so I know who 44. I know who 45 is, so we know who 44. You talking about President Barack Obama? We talking about President Barack Obama? Is that we talking about President Barack Obama?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Man. You had the balls to do what you had to do, man, for us as a people.
Okay.
Sacks, that's too close. We don't want to get fined.
Okay, well, I know you were going to come up with something. I'm just to stand in that position to be president.
No, I'm sorry. What did you say, honey?
So what did he do for us as a people?
Just to stand.
Into the microphone, fellas. Into the microphone.
What did he do?
He inspired people. He inspired people to be the next president. How about that? That's inspiration.
The young children, the young black.
I think you look at too many of the negative things
I
instead
look
of
at the
looking
facts, bro.
And what's the fact?
Well, I don't have no heroes, and part of that is I admire people, but at the end of the day, they're all human and they're all fallible. So what I do is I look at the good that they do and what can inspire me in that, but I guess I don't hold people on a pedestal, and that's kind of what heroism is to me. So I just like Malcolm X is someone I look up to, and I think there's a lot of things I could take inspiration from, but I wouldn't say he's my hero.
Okay.
Well, I have to say, being that's fine, but I know that there's somebody in your life that you have completely said that if it wasn't for that person, I probably wouldn't be here, right?
And for me,
but what he asked was about thinking about non-family members, heroes, right? And what I'm saying is, even family members, there are people in my life, like my grandmother, who is inspirational in her own right, but even she would not want me to say that she's my hero, because she'll be the first one to tell you I'm a human being. And so don't put me on a pedestal. Look at me as an example. Look at me as maybe, somebody that can be a guide, but just not to elevate another human being to that kind of status, because people can disappoint, and we're all fallible, and we don't need to elevate each other to that level of something.
Bob?
Actually, I have two people. One is my mom, who really sacrificed to get me where I am today. Staying in school, staying in my behind when I'm doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Second person is the woman I'm married to.
I said no family members, Bob. I know we're going to go corny. No family members.
Taisha? One of my heroes was my teacher, Mrs. Brown, because she took the time to see me when I thought that no one else could. And she would take the time to bring me out to her house in Duxbury, and she had a.
She didn't feed you garlic plants, did she?
No, she didn't. She didn't feed me garlic plants. Right. She had a whole refrigerator full of food.
There you go.
And in her basement, she had a game room, and she was right on the beach. She just taught me to enjoy life, never be afraid to take chances, and she was just a great person.
Okay. Anybody that knows me closely, who would my hero be?
Tom Brady.
Terrific Brady. That's right.
Oh my God.
That is barbershop talk at its best. Tom Terrific Brady. That is my
Dallas Cowboys.
Oh yes, that is my hero. I don't care what y'all say. In Tom we trust, baby.
You know, at one time, there was people that were sports figures that I considered my heroes, but you know, I've had a chance to look back on my life, and it's people, it's the working men and women in my community that get up every day to go to work, okay, and come home and take care of their families. Those are the real heroes.
Any of them named Tom Brady?
No.
Okay, well they can't be my hero. Tom Brady, that's right.
I think the brother wanted to touch on the issue as well. Correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Who's also wearing
A guy that.
Listen, don't.
We're not going back to Barack Obama. We're not going back to Barack Obama.
Don't get at me, bitch.
Well,
personal opinion.
You can have your opinion.
Right.
A guy that I look up to would be Ben Carson.
Okay.
Oh Lord. Lord, just don't let me even collapse in this.
Wait, I didn't hear him. Ben Carson. He did say Ben Carson.
But let the man speak. Let the man speak. He like Ben Carson.
I kind of got a similar story to Ben. You know, I came from nowhere. I went to. My parents sent me to a boarding school. It's $50,000 a year. We couldn't pay for it. Paid for it because I rowed a boat. You know what crew is?
Yeah.
Okay. I rowed a boat. Okay, I was world champion since I was like 10 years old. Alright, school said, hey, come to our school and row for us. My mom was like, I don't want to go to boarding school. She said, listen, man, you got to get up out of Roxbury. This is South End back in the 80s, 90s. It was ugly. Wasn't how it is now, My mom sent me there. It was hard for me because I was around really wealthy white people. I didn't really fit in.
Okay.
So
why is Ben Carson your hero?
Why? Because he came from nothing, went to Johns Hopkins. You understand? Became the first doctor to do a brain surgery to separate two twins from the head, from the skull.
Okay.
Like Chair, man. He comes in. Chair's like 6'10", rowing. That's right. You never seen a brother rowing. He's a cold brother.
How did he get the boat?
Chair's a cold brother, man. Y'all be surprised.
So I recently, actually, it's crazy how I just saw this yesterday. I was watching a video with Ayanna Presley, and I'm not sure where exactly they were, but they were questioning Ben Carson, and there were a lot of, Ayanna gave an example of this family in Brighton, and it had a picture of what the ceiling looked like, and it was nothing but debris and everything, and they were in low-income housing. And when Ayanna asked Ben Carson, does he feel that these women need to be living in these living conditions, he couldn't even give a yes or no answer. So, whatever.
So in other words, Ben Carson is not your hero. That's what you're saying.
He doesn't. Yeah, that's the problem, because Ben Carson needs to remember. Yeah, he needs to remember where he came from.
And he does. He just gave out 100,000 Section 8s in the budget alone.
That's the challenge with heroes.
He didn't give it. That's about where he comes from.
He's the head of HUD.
But he didn't give it.
Folks, just remember that everyone has their own opinion.
He's the head of HUD.
We're not here.
That is the challenge with heroes. That's exactly the challenge.
And then
Listen up, folks. Thank you. We got to hear from our sponsors right now. And Ben Carson's not one of them, all right? We see that touched a nerve. When I asked the pet peeve question, y'all should have said Ben Carson.
No, you should have said 45.
So, we're going to hear from our sponsors right now. From our sponsors. Folks, I need everyone to be quiet right now. I need everyone to be quiet.
We need to hear from the sponsors.
Sponsors, please.
Local sponsors: Urbanica Building Design, Eddie Jenkins Law, Callaway Graphics, Sweet Embers Bakery, J. Rockwell Sound Studio, Shun's Kitchen, Janie Construction, Leo Papil, George Kramer, Suya Joint in Roxbury, Mass., and some anonymous donors. And I always have to shout out to Jerry at Leading Ladies at my hair salon.
Okay.
And the national
She
sponsor.
better write a check.
National sponsors Better Belly out of Chicago, Illinois. The Shop, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Apon Concept Productions in Miami, Florida. And Campaign Industries out of Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, well, since we were in politics, I'm gonna go right into another question that'll hopefully get the juices flowing again. Get the juices flowing again. Can a woman?
That's a bad topic.
Do we have any qualified women that should be president?
That's a ridiculous question because what makes
Are you saying a woman can't be president, Louis?
I'm saying qualified is a word that we don't use because throughout the world there are women who have been presidents. We got women who are presidents in Africa.
Right.
I'm talking about president of the United States, Louis.
United States, you will have a woman president, and it will happen soon.
Okay.
So what? I run this country for how long now, and look where we are.
Okay.
Well, look at the woman that's running Germany.
Right.
Look at Germany.
The most educated.
Look at the state of Germany. Cut that. Look at the state of Germany.
Last time I was here, this question came up, and it's the same answer, which is yes. Okay, and y'all gonna quit underestimating us and even raising up this question.
It's not a question.
I want to finish. Let's put this question to bed of asking of whether or not women are qualified and what we are. So let's keep it pushing.
All you have to do is look at examples. Brother mentioned Angela Merkel, who's been the president of Germany for a very long time. It's the most successful European country in the European.
You're not. I just left Germany.
It's the most economically successful country.
I've been to Germany lately. I just got back from Germany.
But I worked at NATO, and I worked about all.
I worked there also, brother. I worked there also. I worked there NORAD.
Successful leader in the European nation.
No, she's the worst right now, brother.
No politics.
And you can go back.
She's the worst.
Go back to England. The worst place now. The most successful. The most successful. Country that's doing better than Germany. Tell me a country that's doing better than Germany.
You gotta look at me.
Austria.
Look at me. When you see my head,
Austria.
let's stop now, please. Let me just be clear.
I'm feeling like there's a lot of male energy that's dominating this whole situation.
First of all, when everyone talks over each other, none of you are making any sense. If they can't hear your point because you're talking over each other, doesn't make for a good show.
It sure
It
does.
should make for a good show.
My God.
So let me go to another topic. Let me go to another topic that's going to be near here. That my next topic is, what era of music did you like?
New Jack era.
Oh, New Jack.
Come on, talk to me. What era of music?
90s is probably one of the best eras of music, period.
Nothing like that.
Because the worst music was the 70s. Disco was horrible. Oh my goodness.
The Philly Soul era, like the original one, where a lot of groups like the OJs and others came out of that. That's one of the dopest eras of music too.
Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yeah,
Had all the bands back in the day. I tell you, myself, James, Cheryl, and Gail went to a show. This brother by the name of Tony Wilson does a James Brown impersonation. When this gentleman comes back to Boston, folks, you have got to go to this show. This show was phenomenal. There must have been about a 15-piece band, horns. This guy's in his 60s. He was doing flips on the stage, but he did a whole era around 60s. He's coming back to do some Michael Jackson. I think on the 25th, he's coming back. He impersonates Michael Jackson. But that music in the 60s, I loved it. It was just all about bands and real singers. You know what? And I got to give one of the eras I want to talk about when rap music came about. I love rap music. I love every aspect of it. I like the gangster stuff. I like the freelance. I like the storytelling. I thought it was going to phase out at one time.
Bust out your Rakim joint.
Picture Mike. The stage is empty. It's my check. The coach show reads him and Fago Trey. Don't make come on, so Trey.
Oh my God.
When I was younger, this man used to tell me he could rap. So he gave me that freestyle Right? Until one day we in the car and
You heard the rhymes.
I'm listening and I'm like, wait a minute. My daddy's famous. He's a fraud.
I used to tell all the kids I was rapping and come up with some stuff they ain't heard back in the 60s. It was always some little kid that had an old mama my age. Wait a minute, that's not your rap. I know that song. Okay, if there was someone that you could tell to kiss your natural born, you know what, who would that be?
Ben Carson.
Who else? Bob?
Mentioning names, the president mayor of the city of Boston.
Oh my goodness, here we go. Here we go.
We can't talk about Mayor Walsh on here.
Loans fast food.
Don't talk about Mayor Walsh.
Yes.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
The way loans are fast food.
Anybody else that you could tell to kiss your you know what, who would it be?
I know college
The
was in this
list
room.
is- the list- the-
I know college students is
the
like
list is
saying,
long.
Don't take it personal, black man. This is all in
Sally
fun.
Mae.
Don't take it personal.
Sally Mae.
Sally Mae?
Yeah, college students. I know what y'all talking about.
Okay. Anybody else? No. Okay,
You have to be able to listen to everybody's opinion.
Sure.
So when especially people that are older than us, because they've been here and done that, and so therefore I just have to say this because sometimes I think you're getting a little stressed. Yeah. And I'm just saying he's older than me.
It's okay.
And I know
Okay, folks, let's stay
So that's all I'm
focused. Let's stay focused.
You know
Just
what I mean?
have a good time with the show. Have a good time with the show. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. Okay. Let me ask a question. When you're in a relationship, we over here, we don't do individual conversations on this show, all right? No individual side, because everybody can hear what you're saying, all right? How do you know when a relationship is over?
When the communication stops. Yeah. When you ready to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Don't talk anymore, I think.
That's it?
Don't communicate.
What about when you get a bad meal and you find that cyanide was in it? You know, I think the relationship's over. I watch enough TV and people like, oh, they put poison in my food, but I still love that. I'm not going nowhere.
Well, I didn't put poison in the food, but our first date, it was a really bad meal.
Oh, goodness.
I made a pancake piece of steak, you know, those small piece of steak. I thought I was doing something. I put it in the oven. I put some onions and green peppers on it. And a big picture of Kool-Aid with extra sugar, but I didn't know. I thought I was cooking. I was like, you can't. Wow. This is steak.
That sounds like diabetes. A whole lot of sugar.
Wait. But he taught me how to cook. He taught me how to cook.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Room for growth.
20 years ago. That was 20 years ago. We still together, all right?
That was a good meal.
Oh, shoot.
What time is it, folks?
3:52.
Oh, my goodness. You know something? It went quick. I'm going to give each one of you very quickly a chance to say anything about what you might think is important to you. All right? You have 30 seconds, so you cannot write a book here. We got 5 minutes to go. Taisha.
Good people, honesty, love, life, family.
Okay. Aisha.
My fiance.
Ooh, that's my brother. You don't know what you're in what you got to deal with.
Know.
He the meanest person I ever met in my life. Trevetta.
Living, loving, and laughing, and enjoying my family, and just doing it all.
I like that. Lewis.
People, particularly young people, knowing who they are, from whence they come, and where they're going. Particularly knowing facts as opposed to having opinions.
Okay. All right. Bob. You got to sit into the mic, Bob.
To have peace and unity in this community.
Okay. Peace and unity in the community. That's a rap, bro. That's a rap. You need to be a rapper, Bob.
Rapper Bob.
It's to finally receive my degree from Spelman.
Hey, now.
As well as continuing pursuing helping those incarcerated, formerly incarcerated.
Okay. All right. Champ.
I think having a growth mindset, is big. For older people too, not just younger people.
Okay.
You know, and I have a book come out. You know, my book will be out in August. You know, and it's about the memoirs, Life and Times of me, Donnie Palmer.
Okay, we'll bring it back so we can talk about it one time.
That's right.
Things that are important to me are knowledge to self, my wife, my health, and my family.
Knowledge of self or to self?
I'm sorry. My brother over here, right? The energy was
Jesus God.
so it's kind of got me nervous. My words and stuff, but you know what I mean. Knowledge of self. But
and I would say what's important to me is liberation for Black people, integrity, honesty, and joy.
I just love the vegan. She lies.
I'm not even a vegan. I had a hairstyle one time.
You got the vegan look. You know?
I came in here. He thought I was a vegan. I'm like, I don't know where you get this. Okay.
How about our producers? What means something to our producers over here? We got a couple of minutes left over.
I think this show is very important to me. It gets me out 2 Sundays a month. I like the crew. I like having all the guests. We got some good guests today. We always get some repeat people who have a little faith in us. So that's what I like.
All right. I like that, Cheryl. Gail?
Really, it's our family. It's just enjoying my life to the fullest each and every single day. And knowing that when I wake up, I'm going to learn something new. And I get a chance to spend it with you.
But you know what? That's only because it's Father's Day. That's my Father's Day gift. That's my Father's Day gift wrapped up in a bow right there.
What's important to me, I think just growth, you know, really growth, and just being able to get financial freedom. You know, once you get that financial freedom, I feel like you could do whatever you want, say whatever you want, be whatever you want to do, as you're seeing it right now. You know what I mean? Okay. So that's important to me. And of course, you know, my family, my main man Trey Ochoa. We got some incredible things working in the way right now. So it's important.
You're gonna see some things that Jay and I are doing on film and documentaries. A script about a very important person in Boston. But please continue to tune into our show. Yes, I'm going to bring that up. Absolutely. I think the thing that is most important to me right now, and it may sound corny, but it's keeping me focused, is my relationship with God. There's a lot of things happen in my life. I may have reacted a lot differently if I didn't say to myself, what would God want me to do in this situation? Because I know, like my girl Kimberly said, my temper can, I feel it just rise to my head today. It's just bubbling and boiling. But yes, it's my relationship with God. I want to thank my panelists for being here. This was a riveting show, to say the least. Jay, take us out of here.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show. Everybody, keep tuning in. 102.9 FM. Keep knocking. Keep rocking. We'll holla.
Thank you, folks.
Good stuff, folks. Good stuff.